Hey guys, are you tired of all this winning yet? I know I'm not. I had a really big day on social media yesterday. I responded, first of all, my video from a couple of days ago where I was just really happy celebrating Ethan's successful launch of Wrecked Planet. That video has been going really well for me. Just getting continuous views. Even the video I did yesterday, doing well, and I just responded to a tweet from Ethan where he'd said, him personally, he is just not going to invest his personal time and labor in promoting projects that either aren't Comicsgate or aren't willing to declare themselves Comicsgate. So he just basically said, are you Comicsgate? And everyone was replying. So I thought, well, what a great time, I'll get in on this. So I replied and said, hell yeah, I'm Comicsgate. And put a link to my upcoming Indiegogo campaign, the sign up page. And he immediately liked it, and I was, when Ethan likes a tweet, you always go a bit of like, and then he retweeted it. And if you had seen my face when that happened, I was just, jaw hit the floor. Thank you. If Ethan ever sees this, thank you so much for retweeting that. I gained so many followers, new people checking out what I'm doing. And yeah, really, how Comicsgate, thank you so much everyone who's come on board, who's subscribed to the YouTube channel too. It seemed like only a few days ago I was celebrating that I broke past 150 subs, and I just checked today and it's over 200. So crazy. It's crazy how quickly you can grow on YouTube compared to Twitter. I feel like, it's always one step forward, two steps backwards on Twitter. It's so hard to get an audience there. And even when you do have, so I've got, 1,300 people following me on Twitter, but I always feel like there's actually only a handful of people who are actually, engaging with what I'm putting out there. YouTube seems to be, that's what everyone's been saying. That's why I'm here. This is the place to be, to get yourself out there and get involved in the community a bit more. So here I am. Do you know who Dan Fraga is? I didn't, but I saw him a bunch of times on some streams recently, and I was really impressed with the guy. The things he has to say, the way he says them is very, great guy on screen. And yeah, he's got a lot of insight into the industry. And I guess you call him like an insider because, he's lived it. He's an industry veteran. He's been around since, I believe, the foundation of Image Comics. He's that big. He's got a Wikipedia page, so I looked him up, and yeah, he was hired straight out of high school, working for Rob Liefeld. He's been working on heaps of things for ages. He dipped out for a while and got into television and animation. He directed a season of the Ricky Gervais show. I was absolutely obsessed with Ricky Gervais radio and podcasts. I think I've listened to every single thing he's ever done, and I love that show. So Dan, if you ever see this, great work, mate. That's a real achievement. But yeah, he's he's an amazing comic artist, and he's got a YouTube channel, Fraga Boom, I think, or Couch Doodles, and yeah, he's got a bunch of subs on that. It seems like he just does drawing for the moment, but he should really get into getting his face out there and doing more streams and videos like that, because this guy's made for YouTube, I think. And like I said, what he has to say is It's a lot of, I've been sort of sitting there with my notepad taking notes. It's really good stuff. Yeah, but anyway, so he's got an IP called Black Flag. He's been doing it for a long time, I think, and it's sort of in the same vein as Cyberfrog. It's something from the 90s, and it sounds like he is looking to relaunch it with a crowdfund. So this could be a really exciting new property coming up real soon. I think I heard him say the other day he was going to launch it in March. He didn't want to launch to coincide it with Wrecked Planet, which might be a good idea, but should be coming soon. That's very exciting stuff. But anyway, the point why am I talking about Dan right now is he was on Twitter just recently arguing with some idiots about Cyberfrog and about crowdfunding and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't see who he was arguing with. They've protected their tweets or they've got me blocked. I don't know what it is, but clearly he was talking to someone who was thinking that either Comicsgate or Ethan himself is sort of a grifter and selling rubbish for overpriced amounts. He seemed to be arguing that, well, Dan was hitting back, saying, when you back a book like this, you're not just paying for the pencil, the paper and the staples, you're paying for more than a year of work from the creator, and on top of that, all of their years of building up that talent and creating their persona and who they are in the industry. So the cover price is justified when you consider all of the work that goes into it, and on top of that, as independent creators, some people are printing really small numbers. Ethan is obviously printing in the thousands, but still, that's not huge numbers when it comes to book publishing. It's not hundreds and hundreds of thousands, so you don't get those super cheap per comic prices from a printer unless you're printing huge volumes. So it's just not feasible for our books to be priced under $20 really, because it's just so expensive to make and print these things. Even if you're drawing them yourself, your time is valuable. So he was getting into it with this guy over that. There seems to be this idea floating around that if you work in comics, you should, especially if you're crowdfunding, you should only be trying to make enough to produce the book, and you shouldn't be going after a profit, which is just crazy, and I don't understand it, and it doesn't really need to be rebutted because it's just so dumb. So yeah, Dan went on to say something that I've been saying for weeks now, which is why crowdfunding really is going to play a huge role in the future of comic books. These pros who are either, they're creating characters for Marvel or DC, or they're putting in their heart and soul into these IPs that they don't own and they won't be profiting from, and they're working for middling wages, slaving away, and then they're looking at newcomers, and they're looking at people who have never made a comic book before make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a comic. Gat Hanzo and the War Campaign guys have made over $75,000 on their first comic. Now imagine you're a guy at DC, you're a writer, you're a writer, and you're giving away all your best ideas to them, that you don't own them. You're an artist and you're working night and day to do the best work you can, and then you're looking at these guys who are making serious money, way more than you're making, and you're thinking, crap, I could do this, you know, I've got a name, I've got a history. It's gonna start making much more sense to a lot of people, especially after the huge success of Wrecked Planet. People are going to be looking into this thing a lot more. And so Dan said a story that last year he made a original graphic novel through Image, so he had to pay $2,500 to be in the Image catalog, and then it gets distributed through Diamond, so you get 45 cents on the dollar back from that, and with that you have to pay for all of your printing and shipping. And he said he sold 1,900 copies at $18 a copy and made $700. And rightly pointed out, if I had have done this through crowdfunding and sold 1,900 copies, he would have made $30,000 instead. So yeah, I've been saying this for weeks now. It's just the sheer economics of it will draw so many people away from this old, slow-moving, possibly dying method of the direct market. And he finished off by saying, I'm here, I'm Dan Fraga, and I'm Comicsgate. And thank you, Dan. Welcome Dan. Hail Dan. There was a little side argument going on where a guy, and I've seen this before recently, where a guy says, oh, congratulations, Comicsgate invented crowdfunding and self-publishing for us. Wow, thanks so much, guys. The people who are saying this, they just don't understand what the power of Comicsgate and why it's different to just standard self-publishing or a normal independent comic book that is crowdfunded. So what is Comicsgate in 2020? Well, for fans, if you come out and declare yourself Comicsgate, a fan knows what you stand for, what kind of person you are, and on top of that, and very importantly, they will know that they have mechanisms in place to be able to hold you to account, to make sure that you are upholding the values and the goals of Comicsgate. So putting the fan first, treating them with the respect that they deserve, putting your best possible work into whatever project you're working on. They know that if the CG fans know that if they back a CG book, they're not getting tricked into buying any kind of propaganda of any sort. And they know if for whatever reason you don't come through on what you've promised, you will have your feet held to the fire and you'll be held accountable for that. There's no failing upwards in Comicsgate. We make sure of that. We, the fans of Comicsgate, make sure that if you do us dirty, you won't be rewarded, and you're going to have to do something unprecedented to win back our favor. So that's the benefit of being a Comicsgate fan. The benefit of being a creator is you get to tap into this incredible group of fans that are out there buying, reading, promoting, just super excited about amazing projects. Now, you can't just come out and say, I'm Comicsgate. That will help, but you also have to walk the walk. You have to be out there. If you're a creator, as John Mallon says, you have to pick up an oar and row. You have to be promoting others. You have to be extolling the virtues of Comicsgate, the values, and just generally taking part. And the rewards for doing that will be that people, they may not back your book. It's not a cult in that sense where you're automatically going to get backed. They're going to look at it. That's the promise that the fans give you. So if you come out, you declare as Comicsgate, the Comicsgate fans will at least consider your project, and that is so valuable. But yeah, like I said, you've got to be out there, you've got to walk the walk, you've got to promote others, and understand that if you do Comicsgate dirty, you will be held accountable. And by that I mean turning on the fans, hanging them out to dry when the usual crowd comes to attack them like they always do. Loyalty to those who have put their own time and effort into helping promote you. And if you do that, the world and the benefits of Comicsgate will be open to you. So yeah, I'm waffling on again. Welcome, Dan Fraga. We are so happy to have you. I can't wait to see your upcoming project and everything you've got in store for the future. I hope that you will get your face out there on YouTube more, because you're really entertaining to watch. And yeah, all right guys, that's it from me. I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye. Hi, I'm Michael Bancroft, writer and artist of The Lucent. Going on 5 years now, I've been passionately working on my magnum opus, a fantasy graphic novel that blurs the line between dreams and reality. My first book in the series, Waking Dream, introduces readers to the mysterious world of the Lucent, a place that on the surface looks not too dissimilar from the world you know, but where nothing is quite as it seems. It's a place where powerful enemies hide in plain sight, fighting ancient battles for control of the future. Here we meet Ella Forsyth, a young woman who by all accounts appears to be living a low-key life. But in her dreams, she's hiding a secret with the power to turn everything we know upside down. Sign up now to be notified by email when this campaign goes live, and you'll receive an exclusive postcard if you go on to back the book. For regular updates, follow me on Twitter at The Lucent Comic. Together, we can create something that's truly memorable. See you at launch.